Welcome to Whiskey and SV. I'm your host Sam, and tonight, in celebration of St. Patrick's Day, I'm wearing green and I'm going to be blinding 3 very special whiskies from Redbreast. Of course, they're all Irish whiskies. I can't believe that it's already been 1 year since I did a blind of these whiskies in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, that's how life goes. Things go really fast, so try to enjoy it as much as you can. So let's introduce the whiskeys before we blind them. The first one is this 19-year is a small batch whiskey that was produced for the Whisky Exchange, which is a chain of stores in London. It's definitely a cool place to go and visit if you're ever in London. They have 4 or 5 stores in central London. So yeah, this first one is probably stronger than the other ones. It is a 700 milliliter one because obviously in Europe all the bottles are 700 milliliters, not 750. And let's see, this one is bottled at 58.9% ABV. It's very faintly written on the side there. Okay, so the next one here is the Redbreast PX. And the Redbreast PX is actually a whiskey that came out a couple of years ago, and it was very hard to find until recently. By the way, let's talk about prices. So this one actually, the 19-year, cost quite a bit of money. I think this was about £250. So there's only a little bit in this. It's not that I drank it all. It's just that it was so expensive that we went 4 ways with 3 other friends. So yeah, I got a quarter of a bottle, and after one sitting, there's only like about 10% of it left. So yeah, it's a very expensive whiskey. The Redbreast PX is bottled at 46%. As you know, Pedro Jimenez is a very sweet, sticky kind of sherry, and I've tried this before. It was probably my favorite Redbreast that I could remember. I think this one is costs around 150, 160. I've recently seen it sold at even 100. So yeah, prices on this are extremely volatile and fluctuating. In fact, I have noticed that Pernod Ricard, the company that puts out the red, is responsible for importing Redbreast line to the USA. They have been progressively increasing the prices of all their whiskeys to the degree that some of them are becoming completely unaffordable. So, for example, last year, the blue spot and the red spot were, I think, 110 and 140 respectively at Total Wine, and now they're more like 250 to 300 respectively. The Redbreast 27 has gone from around $550 to $600 to 6 months ago. I think it was about $800, and now I saw it the other day at $1,000. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Pernod Ricard. The prices are just going completely insane with them. But these are at least seem to be still kind of okay for now. Who knows if they're going to go up again? And actually, I don't know if they were less expensive before, but compared to a year ago, at least, let's say they're more attainable and more reasonably priced. So both of these at around $100. This last one is the new tawny port finished one. This is also 46%. In character, I think it's like sort of similar to this, but obviously if you like PX, you're gonna like this more. If you like more, tawny port, which is the port that's been slightly oxidized and is more brown in nature, as opposed to ruby port, which is the one that the 27 years matured in, then you might like this one more. I do have a 27-year batch 2. I'm trying to find a batch 1 for comparison, but I thought for this blind, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it to stuff that is probably more findable, although this one is I would say probably not very findable, but these 2 definitely are. So, we got 2 findable ones, one that's a little slightly more harder to find, and let's see how they show up in a blind. Okay, so let's pour these and see where we get. Okay, so we will put number 1 on the 19-year. We will put number 2 on the PX. Let me make sure that's 2. Yes, that is 2. and we'll make sure they're all facing inside. And last but not least, we will put all right. I don't know if you've tried these before, but yeah, I from memory, I think the Redbreast PX was my favorite. I'd like to think that by this time in my drinking career, I'm well, I'm able to tell PX apart from port. So I would be disappointed if I can't do that. And yeah, I think Oloroso should also be pretty obvious, especially because it is refilled Oloroso and it is higher proof. So this should be an easy blind, hopefully. But yeah, let's see. Cool. So as usual, we will first nose each one, give some notes, then taste, give some notes, and then tell you my preference, and then finally we'll do the review. So starting from this, the first one. Smells. I think it smells a bit like Oloroso. You know, the Irish characteristic is, I think, it's just like a very creamy, smooth sort of whiskey. It's lots of vanilla and fruity notes in it because it is triple distilled. And of course, having been matured in... oh, are these matured or finished? Actually, I'm not sure. PX Sherry Hogsheads, mixed fruit, blah, blah, blah. Combined liquor with spices. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're finished or... oh yeah, it says finished. Satisfying rich? No, doesn't say that. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're finished or matured, meaning did they spend their whole time in that type of cask, or were they just like put in that cask for a few months or years at the end of the maturation? I'm not really sure. Yeah, so this one, I think I get that like kind of Oloroso sort of you know, orange, kind of reminds me of a Macallan, you know, side type Oloroso, where it's like a little bit of like a orange marmalade, cooked oranges and that apricots, those types of flavors. But it doesn't smell very high proof, so it makes me wonder if it's this or not. Let's try the other ones and come back. By comparison, I think this one's a little bit more muted. Very similar notes again, those kind of fruity, creamy, vanilla, and you know, vanilla and fruity notes. And you know, obviously there's like the dark jammy fruit kind of notes there as well. I'm not getting so much of the kind of the Macallan, you know, orange marmalade note here. It's more of a berry note. Yeah, not sure. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, this one I think is the PX one, because PX to me has a little bit. It reminds me of these like pastel kind of Haribo sort of sweets. So far on the nose, I think I prefer this one the most. It's like kind of the more lively, fruity, sort of Haribo fruity kind of tasting and aroma, which I really enjoy. Okay, so let's start with, I think we'll start with tasting from this side, because I do think that this is this was my favorite nose. Interesting. So that was a lot more acidic than I was anticipating, and there's some actually like kind of citrus notes, but like citrus, maybe like lime or lemon, lime or lemon kind of zesty notes. Maybe even the lime skin note. There's a little bit of a bitterness there as well, and of course there's like lots of fruit underneath. But it makes me think that maybe that is actually the port, because that's the kind of experience I remember on the port. I remember the PX to be more smooth than that. That was a little bit, yeah. There are some like citrusy bitters that I don't remember tasting on the PX. I suppose it could also be this, but I don't think so. It does drink higher proof than the nose would suggest, which is interesting. The aftertaste is it's actually quite oaky as well, and the aftertaste is a little bit tart, and there are some bitters. So I think the nose was really great. The palate's not as much. It's nice, but just not as much as the nose would had led me to believe. Okay, let's try this middle one. Yeah, that's a much smoother experience. Much more. It's very well rounded. Creamy berries. Um, just overall very much more pleasant experience. Definitely the nose is not as nice as this. This has a better nose, but on a palate, this was uh, way superior. Actually, I would say that is good stuff. Okay, so far no contest on the palate. Definitely this. Despite the nose of this being better, I think I would go for this any day. Okay, last but not least. Interesting going back to this now. It doesn't have that what I associated with the Macallan, which is that orange, tangerine, cooked fruit note. Slightly there. Okay, let's see. Yeah, even this one has a little bit of an edge to it. It is very smooth though. It's not as harsh as this one. This one had definitely some acidic and bitter notes that is completely missing from this. They're slightly here, but I wonder if it's just because it's higher proof. It's very nice. I actually like this quite a bit. It's yeah, that's really good. It does feel higher proof though. So if I was to guess, I'm gonna say this is the Tawny Port, this is the PX, and this one is the 19 year. And it's very interesting because even though this has some bite to it, the bite is not off-putting in any way. It's actually the aftertaste it lingers sweet and pleasant. Versus this one, I think was more like bitter and kind of like lime skin, which I mean, some people may be into it, but personally, I prefer this. So yeah, I think it's between these two. I'll do one more just to make a decision. That's really good. Just very the sort of the vanilla and the fruity notes are very well integrated. So it's an excellent experience. It's just the ongoing, lingering aftertaste is great. This definitely has some bite. It has to be the higher proof. The spices are more as well. And it lingers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these two are very different. I would say this is probably the 19 year. I would say I do like it, but not at almost 3 times the price of this. So I think if I take value, this is, well, assuming this is a PX. So I should do a reveal before I talk about this. Tawny Port, PX, 19 year. So this has to be Tawny Port, which is 3. Oh wow, this is 1. That is crazy. So then definitely this is not worth it because it costs 3 times as much as the other ones. And yeah, that's crazy. And this is number 3. Oh wow, this is the port. I got them all wrong. This is number 2. Okay, I got every single one wrong. The 2 favorites were the 2 kind of like the PX and the Tawny Ports. Yeah, that is surprising, to be honest. Let me try this one more time. Yeah, it just has some alcohol ethanol thing to it that is not great. Right, and it finishes bitter. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. When I tried it last time, I thought it was great, but I have to say no, not a fan. At least tonight. Could have sworn this was a PX. Yeah, I think these were very close. I did give the edge to the Tawny Port, but yeah, that's why you should do blinds. So yeah, I'm glad that I didn't pay for this full bottle, although I still paid $90 for a quarter of a bottle, which is way too much money. But yeah, well, it is what it is. So please enjoy St. Patrick's Day responsibly and have lots of fun, and call your Irish friends and let them know that you love them. All right, take care and see you next time. Bye.